Primo Wrestling. Addition, Town 110th Anniversary Event. Addition, Market Square Incident. Addition, Flow Meter Project.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Gendron. Discussion. Councillor Gendron.
We did not pass the resolution to open the meeting.
Wasn't moved.
You went straight to the land
We
acknowledgement.
don't have to pass a resolution.
You
to open the meeting. No, never do.
No, the mayor just calls the
I
meeting.
just
Oh,
told
I'm
you to order.
sorry. Would appear Councillor Jarvis and I were of the same opinion.
I tried the same thing.
Okay,
Oh, there you go.
sorry.
Further discussion on the addition to the agenda.
Any other addition?
Any other additions, subtractions, or anything else, really? No? All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the April 26, 2023 and the May 10th, 2023 regular meeting of council be approved as circulated, and be it further resolved that the minutes of the April 28th, 2023 special meeting be approved as circulated.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Kozlowski. Discussion? I'm trusting everybody had a chance to review the minutes. Any discussion? No? All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that council approves the accounts payable listing being check number 21296 to 21364, inclusive of checks, electronic payments, and payroll issue in the amount of $120,486.60 as circulated.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Councillor Kozlowski. Did everybody have an opportunity to look at the accounts payable listing, and are there any questions or discussion? Councillor Kozlowski.
No.
Oh. To my shock. You all good?
We're all good.
Anybody else? All in favor? Carried.
Be it resolved that council for the town of Winnipeg Beach hereby gives second reading to tax levy bylaw number 4-2023.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Gendron. Welcome. Seconder, please. Councillor Houle. I trust everybody had an opportunity to review this once again. Any questions, comments, or points of discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Be it resolved that council give tax levy bylaw number 4-2023 third and final passed, signed, and sealed.
Okay, can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Councillor Gendron. Sharon, do we need,
There's always a recorded
Recorded vote?
vote for third reading of a bylaw. Yeah.
okay, so do I have to have somebody request that? Or
No, it's just automatic with third reading of a bylaw, so that's why
okay,
it's
thank you.
listed
So we'll
there.
have a recorded vote. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Be it resolved that council give water and sewer rates bylaw number 2-2022 third reading finally passed, signed, and sealed.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Kozlowski. Seconder, please. Councillor Gendron. I trust everybody had an opportunity to read this as well. Unfortunately, the sewer and water utility rates are going to be going up this year. Any questions, comments? Okay, recorded vote. All in favor? Carried.
So unfinished business, as of a result of additional conversations I've had with both community planning, interlake planning, as well as the property owner, we will be tabling the subdivision application one more time. When we look at some of the complications and the need to expedite a certain portion of the subdivision that this property owner is looking at conducting, adding additional conditions, like when we look at approving the subdivision application with the conditions, construction cannot start until the plan is registered, and a plan cannot be registered until all the conditions have been met. So we are looking to, in the act of encouraging growth, development, and trying to hinder complications with moving forward with projects that this property owner has. It may be required that she revises the initial subdivision application for ease of approval, which we would be looking for. So that's why we're going to table it one more time. I had the opportunity to talk to the property owner today, and needing to really take a good look at how fast some of the other objectives she's looking to obtain from that subdivision, and if it's not within the immediate, it may be best to revise that and leave those silent.
I see.
So parceling it
Councillor
off to
General?
4 pieces instead of the 3?
So right now, it's looking at that primary lot of lot 3 of moving forward. I did have that conversation with that property owner in reference that in order to conduct most of the development that they want seen on that property, it's not required to have the subdivision, and that they are permitted uses
I see.
under the current zoning. So the request, though, however, was made that aside from lot 3, so this was some new information, was in reference to also approving the walkways, the public reserve areas that would be used as walkways throughout that property.
Okay.
And so when we look at that, we just need to make some assurances, as I believe that by segregating out the new piece of property, the remainder of the property still conform back to they're still the original property. And so although it's currently some of the development that's on there is not conducive to our zoning bylaw, no zoning amendment at this time would be required because it's existing non-conforming. It's once you actually make those changes to these other lots that the additional zoning bylaw and development plan amendments would be required. And so again, looking at the main purpose and the main focal point for 2023, the objectives that the developer has, it's not necessary to be looking at making those, because those are likely processes and they are separate processes from the subdivision application.
So is a conditional use request a much quicker process? Within the bylaw and within the way the zoning reads?
So a conditional use does not require all those conditions to be met as a required. However, there are, for reasons, and that's a decision the property owner needs to make. There are reasons from a business perspective that the property owner may want to have that separate lot. Anyway, even if subdivision isn't required to do the scope of work, they may want that piece parceled out for business reasons. And so that's something that they're currently reviewing, looking at some of the items. The piece in with the rental cottages, we would be looking at having that removed. That's where we're looking to get approval from the province. Can a simple amendment to the original application be done to reflect the in favor of what that property can already house? So in reference to the other aspects, there is no, from a zoning perspective, there is no issue for that.
So that might then expedite her being able to do what she's wanting to do this summer in terms of the golf and
Correct,
ice
and
cream
so it's
stuff.
those other complications, like I said, that when we factor in with rental cottages, recognizing the additional conditions that we would have to put on that because we have minimal information on that, until those conditions are met, the subdivision can't be registered.
Right.
And so that would that would hinder her from any growth this year, because there's no way that those conditions could be met in a timely fashion.
Okay.
So we'll be tabling it. We hope that by this June 14th meeting, we have all the answers as to what makes the most sense for this developer to achieve their goal, as well as meets the needs and the requirements of the town.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Be it hereby resolved that council approve blank to attend the Interlake Tourism Association AGM Annual General Meeting being held at Gaffer's Restaurant and Lounge in Lockport on June 15th, 2023 from 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. with no registration fee, out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diem are applicable.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Hu. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Kozlowski. Councillor General.
I erred when I sent the email. I thought the meeting was the 5th, not the 15th. And so I received the invitation as the Interlake Tourism Association rep for council. I am able to attend on the 15th. Our EIPD meeting is the 5th, not the
EIPD is actually first.
the 1st. Okay, so maybe I thought this was the 1st, not the 15th. Anyways, I am available to attend. That's council's rep on the Tourism Association.
And so the extension would be offered, I would think, to Councillor Kozlowski as part of our development committee member as well, if you would be interested in this
It's my
attendance.
birthday that day, so.
Mine too.
What?
Yes.
But I got one or two
Holy.
days.
Okay, so we're at a council meeting. Any other questions, comments, or points of discussion? Would anybody else like to attend? Councillor Hu, Councillor Jarvis, that would be a no. Okay,
I would
Councillor
like
Shedrow.
to thank Councillor Jarvis for allowing me to provide him with a lot of comical entertainment this evening. It's twice now.
Just a barrel of laughs.
So
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor? Carried.
be it hereby resolved that council approve blank to attend the Red River Basin Commission Manitoba North and or South chapter meeting being held at the arm of St. Clement's Municipal Office and or Mitchell Community Center on June 14th and 22nd, 2023 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and or 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with no registration fee, out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diem are applicable.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I have a seconder, please? Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, didn't see you. Councillor Houle? Discussion. Do we not have a representative from here
It's
on the?
myself,
Okay,
and I am available for the Wednesday, the 14th, the Northern Chapter meeting, which is the group we belong to.
is anybody else interested in going? No? All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that council approve blank to attend MAMEC annual conference being held at Canad Inn Polo Park in Winnipeg on June 20th, 2023 from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at a cost of $225 plus applicable taxes, out-of-pocket expenses, and travel per diem.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Kozlowski. Discussion. One question, Sharon. Would this be an important conference from someone from our town to go? It's a disaster preparedness conference.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. If you can
So
let us know.
being new with this council, we do have an EMO representative. It can be beneficial for members of council to attend to get a more in-depth look from an emergency measures perspective into reference to some of the data, as we have that position contracted out. So although Dawn is excellent at communicating and being available at council's disposal for the most part. There can be an interest of members of council to also be a part of this. So not recognizing where each member of council's interests are lying and where things are. I always like to extend for the first bit, some of this information coming for council discussion to determine if and when, who would like. So we know we do have a safety committee as well, like a protective services committee, so there may be a representative from that committee who may be wanting to attend. I do also note that June 20th is also the same date that Minister Klein. So although if council's not able to make this year's conference, they do have it every year. I do think it is of value at some point for a member of council to attend at least one of these sessions. They are a day session, just to get additional information and collaborate with our emergency measures officer as well.
Yeah, it was something that actually I would be very interested in going to, and I think Councillor Jarvis might be helpful to have Councillor Jarvis there as well. But as long as we have the meeting with Minister Klein, I think that sort of supersedes this. Does anybody else have any other ideas or thoughts about this?
Is it strictly for council? Would it be helpful if our public works manager went? If we extended the invite to him?
Would his schedule allow?
I don't know that. That is not something that normally it is just dealing with your emergency reps and dealing with the decision makers.
Okay.
But certainly.
Well, no, and that was why I asked, because I'm not overly familiar with it. So no, if it is definitely something geared at council level decision makers, then we're just gonna have to hope we don't have a disaster before the next conference.
Let's not jinx that, okay? Any other comment?
Okay, so that can be received as information.
So we don't need a vote on that?
No,
So it's just tabled or something?
it's just received as information. Be it hereby resolved that council appoint blank to the Eastern Interlake Handy Van Board, and further be it resolved that Schedule A for bylaw 02-2023 be amended to include the appointment.
Okay. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Bull. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Gendron. Discussion. Councillor Hood, did you want to speak to this?
Just I'm not able to be a part of this due to my work schedule.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you'd like someone else to
Please,
take over?
that'd be great.
Okay. Who around the table would be interested in sitting on the Eastern Interlake Handy Van? Councillor Kozlowski. Was anybody else interested, wanting to fight Councillor Kozlowski over that? No? Okay. Councillor Kozlowski, I believe the next meeting is... Oh, the AGM is the end of June.
Oh, they'll send me an email, correct?
Okay.
Correct.
Councillor Gendron.
Yeah, given the fact that based on them reaching out, they feel it's important that there be somebody there, I would certainly be willing, if Councillor Kozlowski is not available, for him to just be able to reach out directly to me, and I will go in his absence.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
I've made it pretty clear they would like someone there, so.
Absolutely. All in favor? Carrie?
Manitoba NDP Leaders Gala, no resolution is included in this item, although it is addressed to mayor and council. The CAO strongly encourages that council do not pass a resolution supporting attendance on using public expenses for political parties, so that if any member of council does want to attend that, recognize that that would not be an eligible expense and you would be attending that gala dinner as a personal representative, not a representative of the town.
Any discussion on that, folks? Good.
Be it resolved that council for the town of Winnipeg Beach approve ordering Group Cast as a means to connect with ratepayers and authorize the CAO to sign all required documents.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Gendron. Discussion.
I do have a question on that. Is there a requirement for us to get individuals' approval to be included on the call?
So the only way that when we look through that is that they do have to register with us, so it's not as if the
Okay.
administration will be sifting through the phone book.
Okay.
So at the time of registering with the front office is having that piece
Okay, so
identified.
they give us their, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, great.
And Sharon, for anybody who might be watching this, could you just give a little bit of background about what this is and what people can be expecting?
So the group cast is very similar to anyone who may have children, grandchildren in the school systems, where it's more or less a robocall that we can tailor make for any event that's occurring. So whether it be a street closure due to a water break or a sewer break or water shutoffs, a way to communicate regarding any sort of special events like our town hall meeting that we're still in the process of scheduling in June. So aside from social media and the website, it is a valuable tool that people can get updates. So even when they're not with recognizing the cottagers as well, even throughout some of the winter situations that can occur, they still have a medium of communicating. The office has a way of communicating, so they'll get it'll be directly through their telephone. They can have more than one phone number associated with their account, and when we set up our personal messages into, say, for boardwalk days, just a reminder, boardwalk days, da 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 da, or those types of things, that an automated voice message will be sent out through the phone line communication.
That's great. And so once we have this set up, we'll be letting folks know, and then they would be phoning the office to register?
That's
or
correct.
Emailing the office
So
to
they can
register?
email, like we'll be in that process of, Jody has been doing a stellar job with, as people are coming into the office and updating information, already letting people know about this system, and so
Brilliant.
getting those permissions for phone numbers to be utilized, so.
Wonderful, thank you. Any further discussion on this? All in favor? Carried.
So the Hydra dig, the resolution was not printed, so in reference to the attached quote, be it hereby resolved, the CAO is authorized to sign the quote presented by JCB for the purchase of the Hydra dig.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis, can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Gendron. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Got it. Okay.
So no resolution for World Oceans Day. Looking just more for council directive.
Did everybody have an opportunity to read this? And is there anything that people would like to suggest or do for World Oceans Day education? Hearing no comment, I would assume that's a no.
Be it hereby resolved that council authorize the CAO to waive the community center rental fee for the purpose of a Citizens on Patrol information session being held May 27th, 2023 at 2 p.m.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Gendron. Can I get a seconder, please? That's very good. Councillor Kozlowski. Councillor Jarvis, did you want to speak to this, please?
There'll be a meeting this Saturday at the rec center at 2 p.m. for Citizens on Patrol. And somebody from West Shore, will be there to speak to help us through this. And again, they've been shut down for a few years because of COVID and that. And this is all new to me on this. I'm familiar with the program. However, I'm being involved in it now, so this is gonna be as much a learning experience for me as anybody else. But anybody that's interested in coming and hearing what they say, anybody's interested in getting involved, I encourage them to come to the meeting.
Okay, and can you tell me what West Shore is?
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay, so it's like West
Again,
Shore.
this is all like, I mean, I'm familiar, I don't wanna say anything that might be,
Okay.
yeah, cause I'm not that, so this is all as much new to me as anybody else.
So it's called West Shore Community
Future.
on Patrol?
No, it's Citizens on
Or Citizens
Patrol.
on, yeah,
Yeah, that's
okay,
that's the actual program. But West Shore is the people that sponsor it, and they have all of the, I'm gonna say expertise again, because I'm not certain, but they're the people that have done this, and they work in tandem with police forces, et cetera, and
wonderful.
so they're gonna walk us through what the program will involve and how we get involved as citizens. And again, it's a Citizens on Patrol program.
Mhm.
It has, we're gonna be the conduit that helps get this off the ground, so.
For sure, that sounds great. And certainly with some of the concerns around the break-ins and stuff this past winter and spring,
Yeah.
I really highly recommend anybody who's interested in attending this and becoming involved to come this Saturday at 2 o'clock, Rec Center.
Rec Center, this Saturday, 2 o'clock.
Wonderful. Councillor Gendron?
Yeah, I know that the Friends of Winnipeg Beach group, who sort of the request has come from, they had been soliciting people to provide them with their email addresses, and they were going to be keeping them up on things that they were involving themselves with, like the bridge, and now this initiative with this group. But it appears, based on what was sent, that the information on it may have only gone out to those that had provided their email addresses to the Merciers, which is sort of how they were soliciting contact information for people for the group. So I think it's a fabulous idea. Had I not been sitting on council, I wouldn't have heard about it. So I'm just wondering if we could help promote it by putting it on our Facebook page and our website, so that, and maybe put a poster up in the community center, just so that it can be an all-inclusive invitation for everybody in the community that's interested. It's short notice, and so, to be expecting that small group to try and get the word out, I think would be helpful if we posted
Good
it.
idea. Do a call-up. Councillor Jarvis?
Yeah, the whole thing was short notice. I had reached out to West Shore, I'll say 5 weeks ago, maybe 6, and never received anything. And I'm not faulting anyone, it just, I heard through messages and that, and I'd received an email from them that because of COVID, they'd shut down for the last 2 the programs. And it just seemed they were having some sort of difficulty getting off the ground. So this all came through in the last 7 to 10 days.
Wow.
Like, it's been really quick.
Yeah.
But I had reached out to them 5 weeks ago and I've never received an answer. So, and I got this through somebody else. So that's how I became aware of it. But it is really short notice, and I don't know if we put it on the website, let's do it.
So this would be a prime example of using our robocall system once we
Yeah.
have it up and running.
Yeah.
That we
That we could,
would be able to promote that way.
yeah,
Yeah, brilliant.
good.
So yeah, we can do a call out on Facebook and
Yes.
website
I
and
have
stuff.
that listed.
Great idea. Any further discussion on this?
Just a thanks to Councillor Jarvis for
Yes, thank you, Councillor
helping us
Jarvis.
along with the community members that are wanting to get it going.
Sorry, okay. All in favor? Gary?
So Canada Day event Primo's wrestling demo And it is a demo, it is not a full functioning item, so we did receive 2 concerns, they have been placed on there. The rec report, as well as the background check, has been provided for council as an addition. I did make note that I was able to clarify, as there was concern about Deer Lodge and inappropriate behavior, and Deer Lodge has confirmed to me Primo Wrestling chose to discontinue using their facility in favor of another. So it is not as if Deer Lodge had canceled Primo Wrestling. There is no resolution at this time. A resolution will only be required if council chooses to cancel this demo event.
Discussion. I see that, did you have your hand?
Yeah, I do.
Councilor Jenner?
I received a message from somebody that watched the event in Toulon last weekend and said it was an excellent show and looking forward to it coming to Winnipeg Beach and thinks it'll be good for the town, so.
Okay. Any further discussion? Councilor Kozlowski.
I think there's a few towns holding this, Gimli is one of them as well.
Pardon me?
Gimli is one of them as well, that is holding this wrestling.
Oh,
Okay, so we're not the only one that's gonna go after it, and I'm sure they're going to a few of the small areas around here, the RMs and that, and I think it would be good, and I think it'd be good for the town. I'm sure the kids would love it, and some of the seniors as well.
okay. Any other discussion? So follow the recommendation of the CEO and the rec director?
Okay. So no resolution required, as it
Nope.
was already a scheduled event.
Yep.
So addition, new hire, be it hereby resolved that Kira McKay be hired for the term position of swim instructor / recreation assistant with a start date of May 29th, 2023, and further be it resolved an employment contract be prepared, as this position is not identified in the current collective agreement.
Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please? Councilor Gendron. I know this was added recently, so I'm not sure if people have had a chance to read the attached documentation. Would you like a minute now to read the attached documentation? You can see here the list of functions that she would serve. As we know, we have lost Clint as one of the people working for rec, and this is a very, very busy season for Carissa. Carissa can't do all the functions and do her job at the same time. So my understanding of my quick read of this, maybe you should be talking about this, not me, is that this is going to be someone to help with some of the functions?
So the main objective is, initially this is, we're starting a new program with the swimming lessons this year and trying to get that off the ground. And so several communities have a big challenge trying to find certified instructors. And so our rec manager has been able to contact Kira, and she is willing to work under Winnipeg Beach. However, she would prefer an earlier start date in reference with summer employment. And so although our swim lessons are not scheduled at this point to start up until July, there is a level of scope of work just for organizing the program in itself and getting everything in place. However, there is also the need, in order to secure this person to be our swim instructor, the sooner we hire this person, the commitment is solidified. And so it leaves less opportunity for neighboring municipalities who may be offering swim lessons to poach a wonderful swim instructor that we would like to have here. So that's really what's stemming from that. The added benefit, though, is recognizing that there is a scope of work that she can be performing outside of this swim lessons, as she does have experience with organizing other rec programs. So it's listed as a term position. Through that, there is monies allocated in the rec budget for staffing, as we know that one person cannot handle with all of the various events and things going through. So The financial implication, there is none at that point, as the budget has already been passed, and there is room to have additional help in that department. But that's what's stemming the early hire, was just to be able to secure a qualified swim instructor for our swim lessons.
Discussion, Councillor
Is that a
Kozlowski.
40-hour work week or?
Yes, it is.
It is. And is she from the area here, Winnipeg?
I would have to pull the information, that wasn't identified in, that wasn't identified.
Other discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Addition 110th anniversary event. Whereas the town of Winnipeg Beach will be reaching 110th anniversary in the year 2024, therefore be it hereby resolved that council approve the recreation manager to plan a 110th anniversary celebration for the year 2024 with a budget to be determined at a later date.
Just give me a second here, because I accidentally shut off my computer.
Are you sure it was me?
Just gets better every day.
Getting better by about every 5 minutes tonight.
She is on a roll.
Pretty sure it was me. And I'm back in. And here we Oh, Councillor Jarvis.
Oh.
Okay, where are we? Here we go. A 110th anniversary. Can I get a mover, please? Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Chandra. Who here knew that next year was our 110th anniversary? Of
course you did.
Of course, that's not a surprise. Mr. Encyclopedia
And
over
yeah,
there.
exactly, I don't say that, I say that as a compliment, there isn't anything, Councillor Jarvis.
Doesn't know.
Can't think
It
of
says
you
right
too.
on the logo. You guys
Right
can't
behind
read.
your head, Pam, every time I look at you.
You know, like, Pam, turn around. 1930, holy shit.
Oh, God, you should not have given away your secret.
Oh.
And so the reason for this this request is due to there was a Ukrainian dance group that is reaching out to see if we would like to schedule them for this celebration. And so some level of commitment is required of council in order for the rec manager to say yea or nay.
Probably a good idea. Other discussion about this?
Great idea.
Yeah. That's how the
Great
party.
idea.
All in favor? Carried.
Whereas a complication with the original scope of work to install a flow meter on the main sewer main pipe that enters the town lagoon has been identified. Therefore be it resolved that council approves the new proposed location and recognizes additional expense will occur for the installation of Manitoba Hydro to service the flow meter will be applicable.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Ho. Did folks have an opportunity to read the background report? Councillor Gendron?
Do we have any idea what the cost for the hydro will be, ballpark?
The managers reached out. Manitoba Hydro has not provided a quote to date.
We don't really have any other option, do we?
The only other option
Well,
is
it's
what's-
also costly,
Yeah,
yeah, and runs greater risk.
yeah.
Okay.
It would seem to me that the public works manager knows more about this than any of us sitting around the table, or probably anybody working for the town.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if the public works manager is making a recommendation for option 2, I don't know that we have any other option. Unless another.
No.
Was there no specs that they followed or that they checked when they finished doing these lines and that? Like the 9.9 inch, that's probably some old line that,
So it's a
No.
it's a European line, and so we, like our mapping system, and hence when you hear term asset management and the need for that equipment and to be able to have our own mapping system, nothing like that exists right now. And so when you look at some of the data and the old mapping, it doesn't, it's not clear, right? And so it is an anomaly to have a European pipe size here, you know, so.
It's not uncommon though. A lot of the older towns have, we have no records of what's under the ground until you actually start digging.
Right.
Right, so,
So it's
Probably
nobody's
should have
fault,
been
it just,
done
that's the way it goes.
okay, one person at a time.
Sorry.
Councillor Kozlowski, did you have a follow-up question?
no,
Councillor Gendron?
But just to clarify, if the HVAC had been used, they would have known what they were dealing with.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything we can do with the piping and other things that were ordered that aren't gonna fit?
The Public Works Manager's still working with the suppliers. I'm not sure if you know, best case scenario, restocking fee would be applicable, aside from at that point. So normally, my understanding is that we can't just take it back, like once you've ordered that it's yours. I know that the Public Works Manager is working with the suppliers to see if there is a way, because it's a supply and demand, you know, of who needs it. So if we cannot send it back with a stocking fee being applied, our other recourse is to look at the various municipal sites, MMA, AMM, and list these materials for other municipalities who may have a need for them to be aware that we have them.
Further discussion? Councillor Hu?
Are all the materials not usable for future jobs? I mean, I'm noticing a manhole, for instance, like some of this stuff would be, we
It's
could
the-
use as stock, no?
It's the size of the manhole, so most of the lines, like when we're looking at these like when you're looking at putting the manhole in, and so again, I confirm with the works department, but my understanding is it's not often the only reason we're installing a manhole on this 10-inch line is really just for ease of access for that meter.
Right.
Otherwise, there would be no other reason for it. So I don't believe that with a lot of our other lines that we have, again, I'm not gonna say we never will use it. I mean, it's our understanding that most of the other lines are the 8-inch lines that are running through, and so that's my understanding with that. So as of right immediate, there is no use for the supplies.
20,000. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried.
So council committee and board reports, rec committee verbal report, Mayor Jackson, Councillor Houle.
So Councillor Hu and I met with with Carissa a few weeks back, because Councillor Hu and I are the rec committee. And so we just had some initial discussions. One of the first things that we were talking about, so this is just a report. One of the things we were talking about was the need for volunteers. And we spent some time talking about how to get some people in the community to volunteer for events, you know, helping set up markets, either volunteering on a one-time event or on a regular basis. We talked about at the town forum coming up, the town hall meeting coming up, that maybe we can do some talking then about our need for volunteers, and Carissa can go over some of the things that she needs volunteers for. We also talked about doing a lot more volunteer appreciation, maybe having barbecues for volunteers and other kinds of things that might entice people to get more involved with our town. I know there's lots of people in our town, both seasonal and full-time residents that seem very excited and engaged in our town, so it would be wonderful if we could get some volunteers. I also told Carissa that Councillor Houle and I would bring it back to council to see if people had any other ideas here of ways that we might be able to get some volunteers from the community. So if you have any thoughts about that, it would certainly be Councillor Gendron.
Yeah, I do have one, and that is reaching out to Gimli High School, see if there is a volunteer requirement for the students at all, and getting us put on their list of possible places for them to be able to volunteer for volunteer credits. I know some schools offer volunteer credits.
Well, who would have thought? Well,
Me?
I guess you did.
Me.
Okay, good. Good suggestion, thank you. Councillor Houle.
Well, we may be able to work with the Friends of Winnipeg Beach as well. Seems how they want to get involved with community events and community, they want to reach out to them. Some of the people in that group may want to volunteer as well.
Other suggestions?
Seniors programs. Like through the 55 Horizons, et cetera. There's people that have expertise in certain things.
Oh, sure, for sure.
And they might even have grandchildren in the area or whatever, so some of the functions.
Mhm.
So, and that would be Larry's job. He's our senior guy.
I'm on the ball tonight.
Yeah, you're pretty sharp tonight, Doug, I'm not sure what's going on.
1 year older is a little smarter.
Yeah,
Get more sleep now.
we were also talking about starting to plan now for winter activities on the lake. And with some of the new equipment we got, our public works manager was saying that he'd be able to get on the lake much earlier to start clearing. So we're looking at skating trails down there, we're looking at a variety of things. Skating trails, maybe a big skating rink, maybe a big toboggan slide out in the lake, right all behind the bandstand here. So it'll bring people here more during the winter, and that'll support our businesses. Councillor Houle and I and Carissa have to sit down and put our heads together and start planning it now, so we'll be ready to go in the fall and start prepping for it. And if anybody has any ideas of anything they would like to see happen, certainly come to speak to either myself or Councillor Houle. We do have to get the password for the Facebook page, and I guess this might be something that our illustrious CAO might need to be paying attention to, because we don't have access to the password on a Facebook page, so there's lots of things on the Facebook page that we can't do.
Does
Councillor Gendron?
the former recreation manager have that password?
No.
Who had it?
My understanding is that the former acting CAO.
So could we not reach out to the former
Yeah,
acting
we are,
CEO?
we're in process.
Oh, okay.
We were having some discussions about doing bingo once a week, whether we should do it in the summer, whether we should do it in the winter, what night of the week we should do it. And then part of that discussion, and Councillor Houle, you were there as well, this was a few weeks ago, so you can remind me of things, but part of that discussion was whether we could get a liquor license there at the rec
Yeah.
center. So when we have trivia nights and bingo nights, we could have liquor available. And I think that Carissa said that in order to do that, we need to have at least 3 meetings with minutes.
Yeah.
And then we can apply for a liquor license.
Right.
And so that's one of the things we are looking into. Wanted to give people a heads up if you had any thoughts about that.
Also,
But-
sorry.
But then we were gonna need a bar and a bartender, right?
Yeah,
And we were talking about that, do you remember?
we were talking about in what area we would keep the liquor in as well. Was another question we had. But the biggest issue again was we also didn't want our nights to interfere with surrounding area nights as well. So picking a night is kind of, we're looking for people to respond or sort of give us some ideas, and I would assume we're putting something on Facebook or something to.
That would be a good way of
Yeah.
trying to get some feedback from people,
Yeah.
whether if we were doing bingo, whether that be something they would like to attend during the summer, during the winter,
Yeah.
what nights, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
It
I
just
think
seems to me right now that Chris is so busy with everything else that's going on, I'm not sure that she could take on another evening a week doing bingo unless, again, we had volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers are huge, and in fact, a couple of years back, when they were having meetings at the bandstand, there was a lot of people willing to volunteer. It's just what was in place wasn't working for them at that time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping those people come forward now,
Me too.
and you know, put your name forward, you know, come on out and give us a hand.
And if there's lots of people, I think, who really like bingo and like doing the whole call out
Oh,
thing
yeah.
and everything. So then there
I
must
think
be
Doug-
some.
No, Larry likes bingo.
Oh, Larry.
Now we're the king.
I see him, he's calling numbers in his sleep.
Sorry, I was suggesting Doug be the caller, give us some.
Yeah, I could do the caller.
In between numbers,
I'd do it.
yeah.
I'd
So the
call.
two of you would take on the bingo?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'd play
Would I
just
get
to
a microphone?
watch. Yeah, you can get a microphone, that would be the scary.
Cause I could really use a microphone.
Yeah, I know you could, yeah. Okay, we could think about that, we might have two bingo volunteers. Councillor Gendron and then Councillor Kozlowski.
Two of those people who were willing to volunteer are now sitting at the council table, so that cuts in a little bit there. The thought of winter or summer, the idea about having it year-round is you accumulate your money in the summer when you have the more people here, so that you can still offer it to your residents all winter, and you've still got the money to pay out the pots.
We have people sitting around this table who actually understand this whole bingo process.
I've been bingo.
And don't compete with
I-
Hawk on Friday night.
I have the bingo dabbers still.
Of course you do. Councillor Kozlowski.
Have you thought about having it at the Legion where they have a bar and bartenders? Because they also need a license for their bartenders, which would be no problem to get. It's a quiz online, that's all.
And you lickers.
I have mine, I know from the Legions. So that's another thought, having it at the
Yeah,
Legion.
just split, yeah.
And then split the proceeds.
It cuts into our revenue, that's the thing though. Like if this is something that we wanted out of the community center to help fund the community center and programming in the community center, well, it would be nice to be able to support the Legion.
I'm sure the Legion wouldn't charge us, you know? We buy the drinks there and that's fine.
We'd use their bar.
Use it.
Oh,
And
I
their
see what you're saying.
So they would make money through
off
the
the
bar.
bar and we make
Yeah,
money
that's
off.
what they do.
Okay,
Councillor
Yeah,
Jones.
they do that for darts too.
okay, then that would be, yeah.
That's a heck of a good idea.
And then because
Isn't it?
they assume whatever they generate from the bar covers everything, and it does.
So would this, I may be jumping ahead, so would we give Carissa permission to, I know there's been talk about purchasing bingo equipment. And that's sort of been, is that something, and would that fall under her discretionary spending?
So there is bingo expense in this year's budget. There is also the offsetting revenue that we hope to generate through some of the bandstand initiatives that we're looking at, right? So, providing that, I mean, in itself, if the bingo itself then is able to accommodate the initial costs, then there is no reason why you can't proceed. So it is listed in the budget. We are also listing that offsetting revenue for the initial expenses in the budget as well. So
So are there,
it is something that could be proceeded with. I'm not sure though, in reference to the cost of the equipment and the licenses required. Again, that I believe that's going to fall under some level of lottery license, and so then it starts to become who's eligible to issue that, who's eligible to take out that lottery license.
you need a lottery license for bingo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Legion has that as well.
And so if the Legion's able to take out, so I think that there is like partnering, I think initially when we look at the need to have a licensed establishment and we're looking at having a lottery license bought out and we look at staffing concerns and issues and all the rest of it, if there isn't the ability to partner with the Legion and work out some sort of agreement there, I think that that is probably a more viable option to get this off the ground sooner rather than later.
Brilliant. Councillor Jarvis.
And the Legion has, and Larry knows more about it than I do, but they have a very big trading area, like even darts draws from a wide range across the Interlake. They come from 20, 30 kilometers away to play darts.
Really?
You're gonna touch base with a lot of people if you start to create fun, if you partner with them.
So the recommendation then at that point would be that certainly that the Legion does not incur any expense with this initiative, so including the cost, I mean, if we're able to obtain the lottery license for the bingo under the Legion, that the town certainly absorbs any costs associated with those licenses, so that there's no costs that are incurring to.
Brilliant, Councillor General.
Yeah, the Legion did used to run bingo, and I think perhaps an important conversation would, for Carissa to have with the Legion is what led to them needing to cancel it? Before we,
So recognizing, I do want to be clear that like our rec department is gearing up for the summer events, and so although these new initiatives are wonderful, we don't have the staffing in place right now to be looking at that, and so maybe that is something that whether it's member of council or member of the rec committee, to look at addressing with the Legion as to that. And is there supplies? Is there, is when we look at, I'm assuming there's all kinds of supplies needed, like like how are the numbers being drawn? Is it under just one big machine? Is it electronic? I don't know, right? So
Yeah, there's both options.
yeah, so what is there supplies? Is that something that we rent those supplies from, do we purchase those? Like, what does that look like? I think that more conversations are needed to, when we look at that. What nights are available for the Legion to run that as well, right? So,
I can contact the Legion and have a meeting with them and chat with them about that, get the information. Councillor Houle, did you want to join me in that?
Sure.
Okay, then after this meeting, we will set a date. Councillor General.
I'm just glad you're taking somebody who knows something about bingo with you.
That's what I thought. That's why I got Councillor Houle.
Right there with Jack Bill curling.
Don't.
1914.
And had Councillor Houle said no, I would have asked Councillor Jarvis to attend.
Exactly.
The only other thing that we were talking about was having some discussion with the businesses in town to talk to them about staying open later in the evenings until at least 11 o'clock. And whether we do that with, and Councillor Houle and I are, geez, I'm sure I apologize.
What else? And it's only 7 o'clock.
I know.
Mobile.
I knew it was 7 o'clock because my phone went off. And Councillor Houle and I were talking about meeting with the businesses and whether we were going to meet with them all together or meet with them one by one to talk to them about whether we could come up with a plan to help the businesses stay open till at least 11 o'clock at night during the summer and the fall, so that people have places to pick up a coffee or a drink or food after the bandstand is over, those kinds of things. And so Councillor Houle and I are going to be looking at setting some dates to do that.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of requests from people from last year about, being able to grab a bite to eat or something, during the bands, because unfortunately a lot of places are closed.
Yeah.
And their only option really is the bar, and if they have young children or, they really have no options. And so we want to talk to the local businesses to see if it's feasible for them to stay open later.
So we will be doing that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Any further questions, comments, or points of discussion about any of this? And I'd like us, we are all sitting on committees of some kind. You folks are on economic development. Councillor Houle and I are on rec and public works. Councillor Jarvis, you're on safety. It would be nice to be able to have all the committees sort of reporting back in this kind of informal way, just so we can stay in touch with each other about what's happening on each of our committees. Do some brainstorming. That makes sense? Yes? Okay. Well, thank you. Next.
be it hereby resolved that council approves the council committee and board reports as presented.
Can I get a mover, please? Counselor Gendron? Seconder, please. Anybody? Okay, Counselor Jarvis.
I'm gonna do first.
All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that the correspondence be accepted as circulated.
Can I get a mover, please? Counselor Gendron. Counselor Jarvis, did you want to go second again?
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm gonna go first.
Okay, you can go first next time. Did everybody have a chance to read the correspondence? Is there any comment, Counselor?
Yeah, just regards to the Gimli Seniors Resource,
Yeah.
meeting, I was at a week and a half ago, it was about, hour and a half meeting. And they just informed us again about the, presentation they could do to the fire department or council, regarding if there is a tragedy like a fire that night, that Red Cross will, come down, help out the people and lodge them in the, hotel in Gimli. So there is resources for that.
Really?
Okay.
So when we're looking at our town hall meeting, is this something that we could look at slating them to be a part of and giving that presentation as one of the items at the town hall?
Yeah, I believe somebody said the other day that they did have a presentation last year to the fire department. I don't know if it was given to council at all,
Okay,
but they did do a presentation and let the fire department know. Now, I don't know whether the fire department has brochures that they hand out or papers they give to the people that had the fire and who to contact and, you know, who to reach and et cetera.
Okay, Counselor Gendron?
Yeah, I was the one that made the comment the other day. It was a presentation to council, and after discussion with the fire chief, they are well aware of that resource and have that information available. Should they be at a fire that warrants complete removal of the occupants and the contact information for the Red Cross. However, it certainly wouldn't hurt to do something again. For the fire department staff, so whether it's them coming out or, you know, the fire chief doing a presentation and asking him to include that, but definitely something that we can consider at our town hall.
I really like the idea of them doing a short presentation at our town hall. So we can sort of build a relationship a bit.
Okay, and we'll ask the president there
Wonderful.
if she can attend. What
So
was
once
it,
we
June
see-
sometime?
yeah, we haven't solidified the date, we're still working things, so I'll certainly please, and then forward that on.
June just got very busy for everybody with the earlier items on tonight's agenda,
I know.
but not weekends.
Any other discussion about the correspondence? All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that council moves in camera at 7:06 PM to discuss matters that are in the preliminary stages and personnel matters, and be it further resolved that any matters discussed while in camera be held confidential until such time as discussed in open council.
Can I get a mover, please? Counselor Jarvis, you're first. Seconder, please. Counselor Houle. All in favor? Carried. Yes, but are we?
Be it hereby resolved that council moves out of camera at 8:20 PM and resumes the regular meeting of council.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Councillor Gendron. All in favor? Carried.
Whereas the town of Winnipeg Beach annually awards community scholarship to students of Winnipeg Beach graduating from Gimli High School, and whereas council has reviewed all applicants, therefore be it resolved that council award $500 to applicant B and applicant C, and further be it resolved that the scholarships be issued upon proof of enrollment.
Very cool. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Gendron. Discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Whereas Cochrane Creek Farm was approved for a special permit to conduct a food vendor cart during Market Square held May 20th, 23, and whereas an altercation occurred which caused undue stress and discomfort to the permit holder, and whereas this inappropriate behavior was not acting as representation of council, therefore be it resolved that council approve a refund in the amount of $75, being the cost of the business license paid by receipt number 2023351 to Cochrane Creek Farm, and further be it resolved that council directs administration to send a letter of concern to the business that was being represented
Easy for you to say.
by the person who caused the altercation.
It's been a long day. Can I get a mover, please?
Somebody already started.
Councillor Houle.
She did slip out.
Seconder, Councillor Kozlowski. I knew she wasn't just going to get her
Water.
water. Yeah. How you doing, Sharon?
All in favor?
No, that's my
Oh,
job.
that's 1914. It's like a quiz show.
Yeah. You have to close this resolution, Pam, before you forget.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor? All in favor, she says. Do you want me to read the last one?
Be it hereby resolved that council adjourns the May 24th, 2023 regular meeting at 8:22 PM.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Houle, seconder, please. Councillor Jarvis, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Guys, relax.